Welcome to the 10th episode of Rontro, Class of Retro. Hello everybody, and welcome to another review. Today, we are reviewing Spider-Man: The Web of Fire for the Sega 32X. Oh, wait a minute, get that out of here. I said The Web of Fire for the Sega 32X. Though, I think I would much rather play Web of Shadows, and that's not really saying a whole lot. Before we get into the review, I just want to let you all know that March is Superhero Month at this channel. I will be reviewing at least 3 superhero-related video games this month. I am, however, not counting this game just for the sheer crap this game secretes. So let's start with the plot. Manhattan is taken hostage by a group known as Hydra. The city is in chaos and an evacuation had been ordered. A laser web appears over Manhattan and Hydra asks for a ransom of $1 billion. Hydra then deploys the enforcers into the city, and they capture Daredevil. It is up to our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to save the day. This game was developed by Blue Sky Software and published by Sega for the Sega 32X. Its release date was 1996 in North America. It is a single-player action-adventure game. This was the last game to be released on the Sega 32X in North America. Couldn't really find much information on this game, so this isn't going to be one of my typical uniform reviews. I'm going to be painfully honest about this game, so if you are a huge fan of this travesty, then please stop watching the video now. But here's the cold, hard truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
To me, this game seems like it wasn't finished, like it was just rushed out the door for the sake of releasing another game. I don't know if this was due to time restraints or the fact that this was to be the last for the 32X. The graphics for this game were atrocious. The only thing I liked was the background of the factory stage, and that's it. The animations in this game were awful. Spider-Man's punch was maybe 2 or 3 frames, and even the enemies were just very lazily animated. It's like they didn't even try. One of the things that makes me think this game was rushed was the variety of enemies. There was maybe 4 or 5 different enemies in the entire game, not counting the bosses. Speaking of bosses, you had no idea of when you got to bosses. They gave you no indication, they didn't give you a life bar, nothing. You didn't know until after you had already had them beat and you destroyed the generator at the end of the stage. One thing that really aggravates me in this game is the fact that after beating a level and starting the next, your health and webbing do not refill. I thought it was a standard in any video game with a life bar that you were healed to max at the start of the next level. Who decided that this was a good design choice? This game's so terrible, it makes Tobey Maguire cry. Another thing that I really disliked about this game was the fact that there was really no real direction, like they didn't tell you where you needed to go, you kind of just had to guess. And, if you didn't have an instruction booklet or if it wasn't for the fact of the internet these days, you wouldn't know that you could punch the floor and the wall to open up a new path. In many Spider-Man games of the time, there were cameo appearances from other superheroes. This game was no different. It had the appearance of Daredevil. You could hit the pause button and go down to Daredevil and summon him into the fight. However, he was the only cameo appearance, which is kind of disappointing. One thing that'll definitely annoy anybody that plays this game is the fact that it seems like Spider-Man just wants to stick to everything. Yes, I understand he's the wall crawler, he can climb up things and stuff, but seriously, you run into a wall, you stick to it. You run into a electric generator thing, you stick to it and get shocked. You stick to the hot metal drums in the factory stage. It just seems like Spider-Man wants to stick to everything and you just have no control over it. The music in this game is nothing to write home about. It's like listening to nails on a chalkboard. It might actually be worse than listening to the most annoying sound in the world.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Now, if you're looking to purchase this game, you're going to pay $300 to $500 on eBay. This game's really not worth that. Unless you're trying to get an entire collection of 32X games, I really don't recommend even bothering to buy it because this game isn't worth playing. It's really not even worth owning, in my honest opinion. Let's go back to 1996. The 32X is winding down and I'm finally having my first taste of the 32X. I never owned one, but my dad and I used to go out to this pet shop in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Can't recall the name. They moved into a new building and they had a lot of space that they weren't using for the pet shop. So they began buying and selling VHS tapes, cassette tapes, CDs, and of course video games. We would go there and my dad would be there for an hour or two talking to the owner and the owner would let me play the games. He had a 32X hooked up and I went to the collection he had and this game was there. Being a 12-year-old nerd, of course I was big on superheroes, especially Spider-Man at the time. I loved playing this game at the time, but now that I'm older and understand the world better, I know this game absolutely stinks. That's it for the review. If I had to give this game a rating, it would be a 2 out of 10. It gets 2 points only because of the one background I actually enjoyed. The gameplay, music, and controls are terrible. If you really want to play this game, I suggest doing it using the Big E, only because the rarity and cost of this game doesn't justify buying it. But seriously, don't even waste your hard drive space on this dung heap. So thanks for joining me for another review. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any memories you'd like to share about this game, leave it in the comments section below, along with any questions, comments, suggestions, or requests you may have. Be sure to click that subscribe button and stay tuned after the credits for a quick tip. I'm your host Rontro, and this has been The Class of Retro. See you next time. Here's a quick tip. When the Sega logo and Spider-Man appear, press the following buttons: up, right, left, A, Z, Y. During the game, press X to bring up the debug screen and the level select, press Y to display your current coordinates, and press C to refill your Daredevil coins, lives, health, and webbing.